The fluorescent lights of Rosie's diner hummed softly as Sarah Martinez wiped the counter again. It felt like she had been cleaning it 100 times that shift. It was 2:47 p.m., on a Wednesday, the slow time between lunch and dinner. Usually, the only people around were truckers nursing endless coffee, and older folks stretching a slice of pie across a long conversation. Sarah had worked at Rosie's for 3 years, saving money for nursing school. The job was honest, the tips were good, and most importantly, it was safe. Or at least it had been until today. The bell above the door jingled, and Sarah looked up. 3 men walked in. They moved with a confidence that immediately set off alarm bells in her head. Their shoulders were back, eyes scanning the diner like they owned it. All 3 wore matching leather jackets, expensive looking, but worn in all the wrong ways. The man in front was tall and thin, with a spiderweb tattoo crawling up his neck. His 2 friends flanked him like shadows, one broad, with a thick neck, the other wiry, with a face like a ferret. "Sit anywhere you like," Sarah said, keeping her voice steady and professional despite the knot in her stomach. They picked a corner booth, giving them a clear view of both exits. Sarah gave them a moment to settle before walking over with menus and her brightest smile. "What can I get you gentlemen today?" Spiderweb looked her up and down in a way that made her skin crawl. "Coffee, black, make it fresh. None of that burnt stuff." "Of course," Sarah replied, jotting it down. "Anything else?" "Yeah," the ferret-faced man sneered. "Make it quick. We have places to be." Sarah nodded and headed to the coffee station, but Spiderweb called after her. "Hey, you deaf. I said fresh coffee. That pot looks like it's been sitting there since yesterday." Sarah glanced at the pot. It had been brewed less than 20 minutes ago. "This batch is fresh, sir, but I can brew a new one if you want." Spiderweb's voice went cold. The diner had gone silent. The old man in the corner stopped reading his paper. Miguel, the cook, paused at the kitchen window. "No, sir. I'll make a fresh pot right away," she said evenly, trying to stay professional. But Spiderweb stood up, blocking her path. He was at least 6 inches taller than her and used every inch of it to loom over her. "You know your problem, sweetheart. You've got an attitude. Think you're better than us?" "I don't think that at all," Sarah said. "I'm just trying to do my job." "Your job?" He laughed, a harsh, gravelly sound. "Your job is to do what I say when I say it. Now apologize." "Sir, if I offended you, I'm sorry. Let me get your coffee." "Not good enough." He grabbed her wrist tightly. "Get on your knees and apologize properly." The diner felt frozen. Miguel started to move from the kitchen, but the thick-necked guy had already stood, one hand inside his jacket. I can't do that," Sarah said, trying to pull free. "Please let go. Make me." What happened next seemed to move in slow motion. Sarah tried to twist away, and Spiderweb yanked her back so hard she stumbled. When she caught herself on the edge of the table, he slapped her across the face. Pain shot through her cheek, and tears instantly filled her eyes. The sound echoed through the diner like a gunshot. "That's what happens to people who don't show respect," Spiderweb said, releasing her wrist. Sarah stood frozen, hand on her burning cheek. The old man in the corner had stood up, looking pale. Miguel emerged from the kitchen, spatula in hand, unsure whether to intervene. Then the bell above the door chimed again. 5 bikers walked in. They weren't weekend hobbyists, these were the real deal. Worn leather vests covered in patches, heavy boots thudding on the floor, faces weathered from sun and miles of road. The leader, massive and with a gray-streaked beard, wore a vest that read Iron Saints MC with President below his name. The bikers stopped, just inside, scanning the diner with the eyes of men who had seen trouble many times before. Their gaze moved from Sarah's red cheek to Spiderweb's aggressive stance to the tense silence in the room. "Bear," the leader, spoke, his low voice filling the room. "We interrupting something?" Spiderweb hesitated, then tried to regain control. "Private conversation." "Old man, keep moving." Bear's eyes went cold. He glanced at his brothers, then back at Spiderweb with a smile that wasn't friendly. "See, here's the thing," Bear said, stepping forward with his brothers fanning out behind him. "We're regulars here, every Wednesday for 5 years. And Sarah, she's always treated us right. Good service, friendly smile. Never complained when we track mud in on our boots." He stopped 10 feet from Spiderweb, making the younger man seem small. "So when I walk in and see her with a handprint on her face and tears in her eyes, and you standing there proud of yourself, that bothers me." "This isn't your business," said the thick-necked man, hand still in his jacket. "Son," said one of Bear's brothers, a lean man with Native American features, "I'd move that hand real slow. Real slow." The tension crackled through the air. Spiderweb calculated his chances. 3 men against 5 older bikers. but with a presence that said they'd been in more fights than he'd been alive. "We don't want trouble," Spiderweb said weakly. "Just a disagreement with the waitress." "Disagreement?" Bear's calm voice made it even scarier. "You call putting your hands on a woman less than half your size a disagreement? Where I come from, that's called being a coward." Spiderweb flushed red. "Watch your mouth, old man." "Or what? You going to hit me too? Come on, let's see how tough you are." His two companions went still. The bravado was gone. "That's what I thought," Bear said. Turning to Sarah, his expression softened. "You okay, darling?" Sarah nodded, too shaken to speak. "Did you call the cops, Miguel?" Bear asked. "On the phone with them now," Miguel said, holding up his cell. Spiderweb's eyes widened. "You can't. We didn't do anything." "You assaulted her," said another biker, silver-haired with a scar. "Battery, and probably other charges, given you tried to intimidate her." "Just a slap," Ferretface protested. "Just a slap?" Bear's voice dropped. "My daughter is about Sarah's age, works her way through college too. If anyone put their hands on her the way you did, there wouldn't be enough of him left to arrest. Understand?" Spiderweb looked at the door, thinking about running, but Bear's brothers blocked every exit. "Sit down," Bear said. Slowly, the three men returned to their booth. The thick-necked one finally removed his hand from his jacket. "You want to come over here by us until the cops arrive?" Bear asked Sarah gently. She walked on shaky legs to the bikers. One younger man quietly handed her a napkin. "Thank you," she whispered. "Nothing to thank us for. Just doing what's right," he said. The minutes crawled by. The three men stayed silent, occasionally glancing at the biker's position between them and any escape. Bear pulled a chair near Sarah, close enough to feel protected but not crowded. "You been working here long?" he asked. 3 years, she managed, saving for nursing school. "Nursing? That's noble. My ex-wife was a nurse, toughest person I ever met. Takes a special kind of strength to care for people when they're at their worst." "That's why I want to help people," Sarah said. "Well, you've been helping people every Wednesday with good coffee and a kind word. That counts too." The police arrived 7 minutes after Miguel's call. 2 officers assessed the scene quickly. Bear and his brothers gave their statements. Spiderweb tried to claim it was a misunderstanding, but Sarah's red mark and the security footage told a clear story. The 3 men were arrested for battery and criminal intimidation. As the police led the 3 men out in handcuffs, Spiderweb glared back at the diner. But Bear stepped right in front of Sarah, blocking his view. The message was clear. If he wanted to get to her, he'd have to go through Bear first. Once the police cars drove away, Sarah finally sank into a booth. The adrenaline left her body all at once. She was shaking so much, she could barely hold the glass of water Miguel handed her. Bear slid into the booth across from her, his huge frame taking up nearly half the diner. "First time something like that happened?" he asked softly. Sarah nodded, too emotional to speak without crying. "Won't be the last," Bear said. "Unfortunately, the world has its share of people who think power comes from hurting those they see as weaker. They're wrong. Real power is knowing you could hurt someone, but choosing not to. It's standing up for people who can't stand up for themselves. Like you did today," Sarah said. Bear shrugged, but there was something in his eyes. Maybe a memory, maybe regret. We've all been on the wrong side at some point. The Iron Saints were trying to do better now. Make amends, you could say. Besides, his expression softened, someone's got to look out for the good people in this world. "Why?" Sarah asked. "Why did you help me? You don't even know me." "You don't need to know someone to know right from wrong," Bear said. "And we've been coming here long enough to know you're one of the good ones. You treat everyone the same. Whether someone orders a steak or stretches a cup of coffee over 2 hours, that matters." The silver-haired biker approached. "We should probably get back on the road, Bear. Already running late for the VA hospital visit." "VA hospital?" Sarah asked. "We go every Wednesday," Rookie said. "Spend a few hours with veterans, especially the ones who don't get many visitors. Bring magazines, play cards, just be there." Tears welled in Sarah's eyes, but these were different. "You're all veterans?" she asked. "Some of us," Bear said. "Others just believe in taking care of people who served. It's our way to give back." He reached into his wallet, pulled out a $100 bill and laid it on the table. "For the coffee we didn't get to drink, and for your trouble." "I can't accept this," Sarah protested. "It's not enough," Bear said firmly. "And I wasn't asking. Take the money and put it toward nursing school. Consider it an investment in the future. You're going to help a lot of people. I can tell." As Bear turned to leave, Sarah stood quickly. "Wait, can I hug you? Is that weird?" Bear's huge face, broke into a genuine smile, crinkling the corners of his eyes. "Not weird at all, darling." Sarah wrapped her arms around him. It was like hugging a mountain, but also the safest she had felt since the nightmare began. When she pulled back, she looked at each biker. "Thank you, all of you. I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't come in. We'll never know," Bear said. "And that's fine. Take care of yourself, Sarah. And if anyone ever gives you trouble again," he handed her a business card with the Iron Saints logo and a phone number. "You call this. We take care of our own." "But I'm not. You are now," Rookie said with a grin. "Anyone who slings coffee to the Iron Saints is family. That's the rule." The bikers left in a roar of motorcycle engines, shaking the diner with the sound. Sarah watched them pull onto the highway, riding in a tight formation. Miguel came up beside her, still holding his spatula. "You know what's funny?" he said. "When they first started coming here, I was scared. Thought they'd be trouble. And now I know the truth," Sarah said. "Sometimes the people who look the scariest on the outside are the gentlest on the inside. And sometimes the monsters wear nice clothes and friendly smiles." He squeezed her shoulder. "You did good today, Mika. Kept your head. Stayed professional even when that pendeja was way out of line." "I was terrified," Sarah whispered. "Courage isn't not being afraid. It's being afraid and doing the right thing anyway. You've got that in spades." Sarah looked down at the $100 bill and the business card. She thought about the Iron Saints heading to the VA hospital to visit forgotten veterans. She thought about Bear's daughter working through college and how he stood up for a stranger because she reminded him of someone he loved. The scariest moment of her life had been transformed by 5 bikers who could have kept riding but chose to stop. The bell above the door jingled, and Sarah tensed, but it was just Mrs. Patterson, the retired teacher who came every Wednesday for pie and tea. "Hello, dear," Mrs. Patterson said cheerfully. "Looks like you've had quite the afternoon." "You could say that," Sarah said, touching her fading cheek. "But I'm okay now." She tucked Bear's business card into her pocket like a talisman. She was more than okay. She'd been reminded that for every cruel person, there were protectors, and sometimes those protectors rode motorcycles and went by names like Bear. Sarah picked up her order pad and headed to Mrs. Patterson's table, smiling genuinely. The world could be scary, but it could also be beautiful, and she had just been reminded which one she wanted to help create. Later, after her shift, she would go home and apply to nursing school with renewed determination. She would hang Bear's business card above her desk as a reminder to stand up for others, choose kindness, and make the world a little safer. And every Wednesday for years to come, the Iron Saints would stop at Rosie's diner for coffee, and Pie and Sarah would always save them the corner booth, because that's what family does.